everybody. Welcome to What Had Happened. I can't even get my own thing right, Preacher Lawson. It's What Had Happened was. So listen, folks, obviously on the other end here is not Angela Hill. This is Preacher Lawson. Angie is, it's fight week for her. So I had to call in some backup. We've got this A+ injured reserve list. She's not injured, but So how you feeling, Preacher?
I'm good, man. I'm not gonna be able to fill, Angela's shoes because my feet are bigger. But I'm just excited to be here. Shout out to Angela. I'm feeling great. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, very cool. And for people who don't know, Preacher is a hilarious comedian who basically, I just stalked you. For those who don't even know, like me and my family, we would watch you on AGT, America's Got Talent, and like, this guy is so great. And you made it to the semis, right? You lost to the cute girl with the...
I made it to, I lost in the finals. I like
top
10 or something.
Well, you got all our votes and everything. So a lot of people do know you from that. But so not only are you very funny, but you're also a big MMA fan, which is why I wanted to, I like talking to you about the fights, but like you actually train and stuff. Like, how into the sport are you?
I'm super into the sport. I've always loved MMA. I was a huge fan when Anderson Silva first got into the UFC. I didn't know. I was watching with my brother. I was like, man, that black guy good, and then he's Brazilian. But but I was like a huge fan all the way back then to when he like did all those moves and with Forrest Griffin. And I just been, I was a fan when John Jones first got in to him, like, trying to get that retirement fight, because he ain't gonna keep fighting after that, So I've just been a huge fan ever since, and I started training like in August 16th. That'll be my 2-year anniversary.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, and I did my first 2 matches. They were like
you did a smoker.
Huh?
You did a smoker, didn't you?
I did 2 smokers, yeah, and I just showed up and I went under someone else's name because I don't want them to be like, oh, Preacher, get Gorilla. I'm like, oh, is that who Gorilla? And so I did it, and it was really fun. And I can't wait to do my first actual amateur match in July. So I'm really pumped. I love this sport. It's my favorite sport.
So how did the smokers go? How'd you do?
Oh, it was great. You didn't watch my video? Oh, come on.
I saw part of one. Well, I didn't see the whole fight. Yeah, I just saw you. I saw that you like showed up to a gym and stuff like that, but I didn't see the whole fight.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I won. So the first one, I just kind of, I just drove up. It was like 8.5 hours, and then I got to the hotel, slept for like 4.5 hours. Yeah. I was exhausted, and then I fought this one. We just went up to the gym, and you match with whoever's weighs the same as you, and I seen this guy. He was like, "Yeah, I'm 182." I was like, "Oh, I'm 183." He's like, "We're probably gonna fight." We were joking around. We ended up fighting. And this dude tried to kill me. It's almost as if I slept with his girlfriend. And he's like, I know about it. And he just tried to murder me. I mean, I wasn't expecting it. And I've sparred before, but it's different when someone's like, and it was a lot. It was pretty crazy. The whole time I was fighting, I was like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to. But on the outside, I was like, I was doing. But on the inside, I was like, ah! I was like freaking out. It was crazy. And then the following week, I happened to do a show. I was at a ballpark, and then it rained, so we can't do a show because it's raining. It was outside. Right. And so I was like, I found another place, another smoker, on Google, and then I drove another 4.5 hours, and then I did that one. I did 2 fights, and I won both those fights. So I'm 3-0 in smokers, but I want to do an actual match,
Well, you must be good, Preacher, because you still look pretty. That definitely means you were keeping your defense, right? You kept your hands up?
Yeah. They definitely kicked my leg, though. Oh, my God. I was like, oh, my God. My left leg. But I got to work on that. But, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to send you the clip later.
Yeah, all right, awesome. And so people should know this because you do travel the world. And I know you were in Lafayette, Louisiana last weekend or something, right? Are you still there? No. You're back.
I was, man. I was hoping DC or Dustin was going to come out. And then, DC
I know.
Reply to my messages.
Yeah, it's too bad. Well, no, I was going to say, because I know DC he lives up, Northern California, but he's there. Dustin's there. My boy, Alan Joban, they're all from Lafayette. So I had told Alan, I'm like, tell your people to go see Preacher.
Yeah, he just liked it. He didn't come. I was like, come on, Joe, man. What's going on, man? You don't know me. It's cool. You don't know me.
Well, anyway.
I have to do like a match that's that gets everyone's respect in the MMA community, and then they'll be like, oh, maybe I'll go see a show now. So,
yes.
Not like Jake Paul.
No.
No, not like Jake Paul.
No, not like Jake Paul. The Jake Paul thing is a whole thing. Like, and I'm really torn on it because the Jake Paul thing, from the one hand, I want him to just like out of our world in terms of MMA, but at the same time, I want my friends to get paid. But at the same time, like, I want him to shut up. You know what I mean? Like, it's complex.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. He was saying that like he got paid more than any UFC fighter besides Khabib or Conor or something like that. Yeah. But it's just like that's the same with John Jones getting paid for the Ngannou fight. It's people are saying that he doesn't. Conor doesn't even make X amount of money. Why should Jones get it? It's like Jones kind of like. He's really. But there's some miscellaneous in there, but he's really never lost.
Right.
He
hasn't.
Really never lost.
No.
So it's like, see, he's probably he's probably the best UFC fighter of all time. And so it's like, why wouldn't you pay the best UFC fighter of all time? Like, if you ask anyone about the UFC and who's the best fighter, unless they bring something else up, unless they bring something else up, they'll always say Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. He's just, what he's done is like, he's fought like the last fight on the last card. I can't say it. Jiri, how do you say his name?
Yiri. Yeah. Jiri Prochazka. Yeah.
Yeah, Yiri. So he's like, it's so crazy because he's like bringing back the light heavyweight division. He's like bringing light to it. It's pretty fun because they brought Izzy over because it was so boring. But he's like the new, it was, man. Glover versus, okay, anyway, I'm not going to disrespect because Glover is one of my favorite fighters.
Glover's awesome.
Yeah. But you know what I mean. As far
I do know what you mean.
Spark. He's a weirdo, which is great. He's so awkward and unorthodox that people love him. He like the way he fights is just fun. So, but he's a new generation. And it's like John Jones has fought through all the generations. Like he's fought through Rampage.
Yeah.
The Shogun. Then he went on to the next generation, which is like it was Rashad. Then it was like
he beat Vitor, he beat Leon, he beats everybody. Yeah.
He just beat every generation, you know what I mean? And that's why it's crazy because everyone gets better. Everyone gets better.
Yeah.
Like even, GSP was talking about that. So it's like, I get what you're saying as far as like Jake Paul. He just, I think he's not doing anything wrong for him. He should keep doing what he's doing.
He should keep doing what he's doing.
But it's annoying.
And that's the thing. And it's like, and for me, it's like, okay, you can't come over to MMA and like roll up here and say you're a badass and then box Ben. Like, bless his heart. We all love Ben, but none of us were ever going to tell you that Ben is a striker. And so it's like, then you go around with these quote unquote bragging rights about beating this great MMA fighter. It's like, well, but you didn't really pick the guy. Like he's not going in there with somebody who's got hands. Like I don't see him calling out Masvidal or somebody who, you know what I mean, who's got hands. I
know. I wish he would do that. That'd be nice. But because like it's not even funny. Like it's people are saying like, oh, Jake, he's real. He's a real fighter. And he's he got hands and stuff. And I'm not. He can throw a punch.
Yes.
Right. Because he knocked Ben out with a 1-2.
Yeah.
Who's get with a 1-2? It wasn't no. He jabbed to the body to maybe set up the 1-2, but it was a 1-2. It wasn't like something crazy. He didn't angle off. He didn't do nothing. And it's like if you were, this is not even disrespect, like you said to Ben, but if you were like, okay, who's the worst striker in MMA history? Like, who would you think of? You would think of Ben. You just got the worst striker in MMA history. And before that, he fought Nate Robinson, who had never sparred in his life. You know what that's like? That's like if I never went on stage and tried out any jokes at open mic, then I came out with a Netflix special. How you think it's gonna go? Like, that's exactly what Nate did.
Totally.
He didn't spar, so he didn't even know how to like when I've sparred before, but when I did the smoker, I was like, oh snap, this is different than sparring. And so so he can't. It's weird, but his fans are Disney fans, like they're kids. Right. They're kids. So it's like 14-year-olds. So they don't know, but they are definitely, he's bringing eyes to the UFC. He's bringing eyes to MMA. So it's like, I don't know if it's going to do anything because like how long has dude been talking about the UFC fighters getting paid?
Right.
How long has that been happening?
It's been a long time. Yeah. And so, and exactly for that reason, right. I'm glad he's bringing some eyeballs in there, but I do have to remember sometime that my frustration is like, just like you said, he's talking to kids, like his fan base is kids. Right. And so a lot of the time when, you do have to remember that too, like with the trolls and the this and the that, you're like, grown ass people really don't have time as much. I mean, maybe in COVID they do now, but like, a lot of times, grown-ass people don't have time to be on these message boards or tweeting, trolling stuff. Like, so you do have to remember sometimes, like, just when you're, like, pissed off and you're about to blaze somebody, you're like, oh, snap, I'm about to blaze, like, a 14-year-old kid right now. I probably shouldn't do that.
I know. And I'll do it, though. I'll do it. I'll do it, man.
Nice. Well, listen, I want to ask.
Kids,
it doesn't matter.
They're trolls, but they can get their feelings hurt pretty quick.
They always do. They always do. Well, listen, you mentioned Jiri, and that's really what I want to ask you about, because you are such a super fan, and you mentioned that you think Jiri's going to be bringing some new excitement to the division and stuff. And so, just like, I'm curious what your take is on watching him fight, because for all of us, we're excited too, right? And Michael Chiesa, who I'm working with, is like this huge fan, and he's freaking out and bugging out about him. And it is kind of wild to see this guy come into the UFC, and now he's got 2 fights. He got a main event in his second showing. Dana already said that, the winner of that fight was going to be next in line for the title shot. So two fights in, and the guy can get a title shot, which is a lot like what Anderson Silva did back in the day and a lot like what Brock Lesnar did. And something that Jiri did, which was so smart. Apparently, a couple years ago even, he was offered a UFC contract and he said, no, I don't want it yet. Like, I'm not good enough. I want to develop and I want to really be ready, which I think was really, really smart. So he shows up. I don't know what you thought of that fight with Dom. I mean, it was bananas from the word go, but like Dom did land some stuff, because my thing with Jiri is he needs to get better at some of this defense, because I looked at Chiesa at one point. I'm like, your boy's getting hit a lot, bro.
He got rocked.
Yeah.
He got rocked. He got hit, and then I think did Dominic go in for a guillotine? Right after?
Yes.
Yes. He got rocked pretty, wobbled pretty good, and then he went in for that guillotine, and then he got out of it. Yeah. Because he has his hands down.
Yeah. Right. So what do you, but he's exciting, but I think about his future, and that's people are gonna see the weakness on the defense, you know what I mean, in his hit ability. And I am gonna be curious, obviously there was that guillotine attempt, but I am gonna be curious to see what his real ground game looks like when you get him up against, and granted, at the top of the division, the best ground game, Glover could ground and pound him or something. Jan's got great ground and pound, but like in terms of jiu-jitsu at the top of the division, that's a little funky. But I'm just curious, like when you see a dude like that roll out with the old school Muay Thai hair and all of that, and like his whole thing about like all the like collecting his chakras in there, like what did you think of that?
I love it, man. I think he's amazing. Like I said, he was exciting. I think him having 2 fights, getting a title shot is great, but it almost is a testament to how weak the division is, to be honest. Because you're not going to go to no welterweight division and do 2 fights or no lightweight. It's happening in light heavy because it's a little light there. But I think he's crazy excited. That's why they're giving him the title shot. They're like, oh, we want this guy to represent, the light heavyweight division. But he gets rocked in every fight though. So like he needs to have his defense needs to be better. But he got rocked in Usman fight too. So he got hit with a right hand. So he always has his hands down. But it seems like when he's focused, he's fine. But it's always him in transition when he's switching his feet or he's too loose. Yeah. Which he's pretty much loose all the time. Where he gets clipped. But and leg kicks and his ground game is like, I don't know. It just seems like he has to work on that. But I think he's exciting. I think if it's Polish power, if he wins the fight with Glover, I think that's a good matchup for him. I think Glover and his veteran instinct and his ground game would give him a little problems, because he's so technical that he'll pressure and then he'll go to the ground, and his ground game is just like, he's just really good, he's probably, I'm trying to think of someone who has a better ground game division right now.
Well, Anthony Smith is a very good grappler too, because Anthony did not Polaris. I forget which one. Anthony was like team captain. He
got beat up by Glover on the ground.
Yeah, I know he did get beat up by Glover. I know he did. But here's the thing.
That was the one where he busted his tooth out.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, but Preacher, I don't want to give excuses. There was a lot going on in Anthony's life at that point.
Okay.
And he'll be the first one to tell you that is not really the Anthony, you know what I mean, that usually shows up on fight night. But yes, to your point, I'm not trying to take anything away.
I didn't think he was going to lose a Glover. I didn't, so I believe you.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember calling my friend. I was like, what happened? I thought Anthony, because Glover's great. I mean, he's a little older, so it's like he really has to, lean on his, veteranness and his, just his skill set, not his athleticism. And Anthony Smith still has like athleticism, and his skill set is like he's great. I mean, look at his last fight. That jab and them leg kicks, like he's great.
Yeah,
I love listening to Anthony Smith talk. He's so articulate, and he's just he's great.
He's a great guy too. You know, he's half chocolate. You know that, right?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, Anthony's dad is black.
Are you serious? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Because it's funny because I forget how we figured it out one time, but like there was something, we don't even know, it was something about his look or something, but like, I'll tell you how black he is. Like, listen to Anthony's music selections. Like that's like, oh, that's the brother over there.
I heard him listening. I heard him listening to J. Cole. I was like, this man probably got a basketball in his trunk. Right. You can kind of, So okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But yeah, so Anthony actually is a great grappler. But also, so the thing is, like you said, if we've got Jan Blachowicz and Glover fighting each other, I think Jiri gives both of those guys a lot of problems, more so to Glover because of the age, and he is a little bit slower. Because the one thing about Jiri too is he's just overwhelming with that speed, and he's 6'3", 80-inch reach. And he just didn't stop moving. Like, he never gave Dominic a chance to catch his breath in that fight at all. And I do know, like, Blachowicz is much more, I kind of call him a meat and potatoes fighter. And I say that with like it's a full on compliment. Like, he does all the basics things and all the things that you need. The fundamentals are just tight and solid, and he can take a punch. And he just kind of really has a sense of ownership in there, and it's hard to figure out a weak spot for him. But I do think you could maybe outpace him, right? Out volume him, and that kind of thing is what Jiri could possibly do.
Yeah, I mean, Jiri, he looks like he's en route to be the next. You know what I mean? Yeah. He looks like it. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. I mean, because Dominic Reyes doesn't suck.
Right?
Like, he doesn't suck, and I feel like he almost. Jan Blachowicz kind of, dominated Dominic too. So, but Dominic said he was going through some stuff. I don't know. So, it's I don't know. But
it was tricky, and it's tricky.
I need to see more. I want to see 2 fights. I've seen 2 fights. 2 fights.
Yeah.
I need to see a little bit more. I thought he should fight Rack.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. Yeah, because there are other guys up there. There's Thiago Santos, who I guess his hand is still injured a little bit, and so he's not on the comeback quite yet. But yeah, Rakic is up there. And so there is kind of this rise of the Eastern Bloc guys up there, because if you have Blachowicz, Rakic, and Prochazka, all these guys, I'm learning how to spell. I can spell Blachowicz. I learned how to spell it a while back, and I was like, look at me with all the C's and the Z's. I still can't spell Jędrzejczyk without double checking it. But there is something to be said about the rise of that part of the world and the toughness that those guys exhibit, because they're tough guys, and they're actually also do kind of like carrying the mantle of MMA for their countries. Rakic was saying that, and there's been a couple of other Czech fighters and stuff, but in general, they're like, yeah, people really don't know a lot about it. They think we're hoodlums. They think we're bad people. I think Rakic is Croatian, actually. But in general, he's like, yeah, they don't know a lot about it. So Jiri could end up being also a great ambassador for the sport, for that kind of the world, because he is so into the real martial arts part of it too, the spiritual part, which I really respect.
He really is, it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. He's so nonchalant. I was watching the fight he had with Uzumir.
Yeah.
And right before I got on the phone, because I was like, I was probably looking at him again.
Right. Yeah. And you're like, oh, snap.
And he was like, Usman would like throw a combination, man. He would like move out the way, and then he'd be looking this way, but Usman is like right here. Yeah. And he'd be like, and he just would do all this extra, like, it was just crazy. He's just too relaxed, and I think it throws people off mentally.
Yeah.
That'd be weird, man. If someone was just like walking the other way, but then they come with, I don't know. Yeah. I like it. He said he like gets power or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And he kept stores it up. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's grabbing his thing, and we're like, dude, why are you grabbing it? And that seems dangerous. And yeah, but yeah, he's like charging up the chakra and stuff like that.
That's crazy. I mean, I wonder what it's like doing pads with him. Like, I wonder if he's like, duh, duh, duh. You know, like he just, like there's a combination where he just grabs us. Totally. You know, that's funny.
He's exciting though, and it is fun for us to have like new blood like that. And I know, for the fans, it is also really exciting. So, so the UFC 266 is when Glover and Jan are supposed to be fighting. That's in August. So, maybe we would see Jiri fight before then. He doesn't really have to. Like they said, he's supposed to get the title shot. So we'll see. But I want to ask you about Giga Chikadze as well. He landed an incredible kick on Cub Swanson. Giga, going into this fight, was ranked number 14, and Cub was ranked number 15. Cub, of course, is an OG. And this one kind of hurt my heart a little bit, Preacher, because
I don't want to talk about it.
I love Cub Swanson so much. I work with him sometimes over at UFC Now. Like, he's just known him a long time. Like, there's so much positive about Cub if you know his backstory, being a troubled youth, trying to turn other kids' lives around, just all kinds of really positive things about Cub. But when you see Giga, now he trains at Kings MMA. Anybody who knows me knows that that's my home team. So anytime somebody from Kings is on there, like, that's who I'm rooting for. And everybody kind of knows it. So it just sucked. Wait, what?
I didn't know he trained at Kings.
Yeah. So he's a Kings MMA guy. So I met him actually a few years ago before he got in the UFC, and they were trying to get him on like Contender Series and stuff like that. And they were just like, Rafa was like, no, this kid's like, this is the real deal. And so if Rafael Cordero tells me somebody's a real deal, I'm gonna listen. You know what I mean? So I spoke to him, and so it's just been really fun for me to watch Giga. And I know how much he's wanted, a name brand opponent. And I know, on his last fight when he got his first finish, that was such an exciting thing. So this fight really meant a lot to him, and they know each other. And it was just like, there was so much going into it. And there's a part of me that's like glad it ended that way fast, at least. Like, I don't want to see either of them take a lot of damage. But that Giga kick is for real. And people who don't know what a liver shot feels like, I'm guessing you maybe at this point now have experienced a liver shot.
Oh, I've got hit and hit.
Yeah, when you see it.
On my knees. Oh, Black Lives Matter. I've felt it before. I felt it. Yeah, it sucks because it's like, you don't have a choice. It's like, now, all right, that's cool. I'll go on around. So, not a good one.
But that's what people don't get, right? It's like this button gets pressed and you see somebody get kicked there and you go, 1,000, 2,000, and then they just crumble. It just, it's brutal. But
that was almost immediate.
Yeah. No, so when Giga does that, though, that's his patented kick. The toes kind of got in there and stuff, too. Like, what was your reaction seeing that?
I mean, I was kind of sad. But I was like, well, I wasn't sad till like afterwards. But I was like, ooh, nice kick. That was my first initial reaction. I was like, because usually when someone kicks you in the liver, it's like boom, It was like pain immediately. Like it was so fast how he felt the pain. So it was just kind of like, leading up to that, like he was just keeping his distance. Yeah. I remember the commentators saying that he needed, if they have to get on the inside, don't let him do any kicks. But then he was throwing his hands pretty slick. So he just seems really dangerous overall. He moves really well. I thought it was pretty good all the way up to that point. Then he had that liver kick, and then it was just he didn't want to hurt him anymore. I thought that was really cool because I always feel some type of way when someone gets hurt and then people they're like, well, the ref didn't say stop. And it's like, I know. But like, when when someone is, you can feel it, so I liked how he stopped. Look, they're doing the right thing, but I liked how he stopped when he caught him. He caught him with that. And but it was like really impressive. He placed that perfectly. And I didn't know about him. I need to watch more of his YouTube or kickboxing videos.
Exactly.
Because I guess he was a kickboxer.
Yeah, an incredible kickboxer. And so that's his his first skill set. And so, he was looking for a finish, his first, because he's on a 6-win streak right now in the UFC. And so he is, I think, third longest win streak in the featherweight division right now.
What?
What's it?
6-fight win streak?
6-fight win streak.
6-fight win streak? See, that's what I'm saying. He's on a 6-fight win streak, and he's not nowhere near a title.
I know.
He's not near a title.
No.
But yeah. He's not.
Yeah. It's incredible. And so, it's Volkanovski is on a 7-win streak, and Arnold Allen is on an 8-win streak. But then comes Giga. So he mentioned wanting to fight Max Holloway. He's like, look, I know this is a big name to throw out there, and I'm not necessarily asking for it next, but he has lofty ambitions. And I, the other day, was kind of salivating about the idea of Giga versus Edson Barboza or something like that, where something incredible kick-wise.
That would be so fun.
Right? Wouldn't that be insane?
That would be like, that'd be nice. There's 2 different kicking styles, you know?
Yeah.
That'd be really fun to watch.
I know. It would be fun. It would be fun. So Giga is definitely somebody that you need to keep your eye on. And for Cub, you know, he had actually been on a 2-win streak. He had come back from, you know, a bad knee ACL thing that happened in the same grappling tournament that Anthony was in that time. So I was just really happy for Cub to come back and get, you know, some wins. And he's such a great guy. I don't, you know, it's tough because just, you know, it's hard seeing, you know, people get older and you know, like it hurts. And I don't think it was about his age. It's just that it was a perfect kick.
It was a perfect kick. I mean, he couldn't, I don't even know how he set that up, but that was just like, it's like he kicked with his, I don't know. It was great. It was beautiful to watch. It just hurt my feelings because I love Cub. I love Cub. He's like crazy unorthodox, and that's what I like about him. You
Cub's
know,
awesome.
He's great.
Well, speaking of unorthodox, you know, Ion Cutelaba is usually quite unorthodox. I'm curious what your take is. Okay, because a lot of times he'll show up painted green because he's Ion the Hulk and everything. So the last couple of fights, you know, the one with Ankalaev that they had gone back and forth, scheduled and stuff. So, you know, he had kind of been rope-a-doping and the ref had stopped it early. So they fought again. And then Ankalaev got the legit finish. So he comes back. He's got a fight. It's a different opponent than was initially scheduled. So he's fighting Dustin Jacoby instead of a long kind of rangy kickboxer guy. But Cutelaba, I don't know if you saw it. Did you see the weigh-in when he went in for the snatch and
he
the collar
snapped his neck, and then he was like, I don't even know what the point. What was that? What was even the point? Look at me. Look, I don't know what the point of him grabbing his neck, but he always does stuff like that where he just like, he just yells in people's faces. And
whoop.
Sorry, that was my.
There we go. There you go.
That's my manager called me. Anyway, so they're probably gonna call back.
But like, no, Kudo.
I didn't send a message, so they're probably like, well, probably didn't go through. Let me call back.
Probably go through. Call back again. But yeah, so he. I think too. If you look at the video from Dana's thing, I think Iwan grabs him, and I swear it sounds like he says, "You are my boss." Like.
He says, "You aren't my boss."
It's what it sounded like he said. I could be wrong. And so it was like, is this one of these things that got lost in translation? I mean, like Endeavor, they did have an IPO. So like technically everybody's each other's bosses now. I don't know. I don't know if it was like a, and I like Iwan. I'm not trying to bust on him. I wasn't sure what, like you said, like what was he going for there? I don't know if he meant to say like, I am your boss or something. It was weird. Like, cause people throw back, I don't know, people throw back to, my boy Kenny Florian used to love, and we all love Lyoto Machida, but there's a long time ago a speech that Lyoto did. And again, you know, he's Brazilian, English is his second language. And he said something like, you know, if you have a dream, you know, go ahead, it's impossible. But he was trying to say it's possible, but he ended up saying it's impossible. And so the message came out a little weird. And so that's what I'm saying. It might have just been a lost in translation thing.
Like when Yoel was like, go fuck Jesus. That one?
Yes. Yeah, but Cutelaba is fun. I'm just curious, like, what your take is on watching him in general, because he is a character, you know what I mean, and he is a lot of fun to watch.
I like watching him in the cage. I mean, I like watching him in the cage, but his weigh-ins make me not. I don't want to say I don't like him because I don't want to. Just in case I run to him, because I'm gonna ask for a picture. You know, I'm gonna definitely ask for a picture, but his weigh-ins make me not like. Because he gets skilled just like yelling people's faces. Yeah. And I'm like, well, now I want the other guy to win. Whoever. And then I remember he did it at the Roundtree. And he destroyed Roundtree.
I know.
And I was like, dang it, man. He yelled in your face. You're supposed to win after that. And then, you know, he did it to, I guess he did it to the Russian guy. Yeah. And what's his name?
Ankalaev.
What's his name?
Magomed Ankalaev.
Yeah, that dude's a monster. He's a monster.
Yeah.
He's really good. He's really good. And, you know, I think I like him. I like watching him. You know, I like watching him. He's great.
Yeah.
And he's really good. And they was talking about his cardio was trash, but he did all right. He just went for 11 takedowns in the first round. So I was like,
Yep.
all right, bro, you got to finish him. And then they gave him a draw, which was, I guess it was fair. I guess it was.
Yeah, I think it was
You
the
think it was
right
fair?
thing. I think it was the right thing at the end. He actually set a record for the most takedowns in a single round in light heavyweight history because he scored 8 takedowns. Yeah, he tried a lot, and so he was successful in a lot of them, and that was the worry was, is he going to gas? And I want to ask you, Preacher, because you got a lot of muscles and everything. Like, do you find?
Do I? You think I'll be getting? Oh snap! I got swift marks.
But do you?
Oh, my bad. I'll do it this way.
Look at you. You're like, oh, what time is it? I gotta check. But I'm curious because you did your smokers, right? And so with smokers, not only is there a huge adrenaline dump thing, like you were saying, like how your inner monologue is like, oh, what do I do? Oh my god. But you do have a lot of muscle too, and I'm curious, like, have you even gotten a little bit of a sense of that feeling of, like not being able to move your muscles and the stuff that they're talking about with the muscle fatigue for oxygenation when you are that ripped?
Man, first off, I'm glad you think I'm ripped.
You are, totally.
Yeah. But I was way more tired than I was in spar. I get spar for like 2 hours. Like I'll spar for like 2 hours, and I remember I used to spar for 2 hours without taking a break. I wouldn't even take a break. Like I wouldn't even take a water break, and I would just spar for like 2. Yeah, I would be fine. And now that was in quarantine. That was it was a little different because I can focus a lot. I was getting sleep.
Yeah.
I wasn't on the road, so my priority was training for me. But it's definitely different when you're in a fight because those smokers, it was supposed to be like it wasn't supposed to be any knockouts or finishes. But I did finish the guy. I finished him in the first round.
You did?
I actually finished him twice. Because I caught his leg. Doesn't matter. So, but it is a crazy adrenaline dump, and I was only doing striking, so it wasn't like I was doing an MMA. He was picking them up, slamming them, picking them up, slamming them, and they do 5-minute rounds. I was doing like 2-minute rounds, so it's like, I mean, I honestly, after doing that smoker, I had so much more respect for fighters in general because I was like, this is y'all be doing this, what y'all do? Like I was like, I can't believe that people would just have the energy to do 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it was pretty crazy. So, but I definitely, if I went into a round, I just think the idea of someone trying to rush in there to finish you real fast, I think that's low fight IQ. I think you should go in for a finish if you see that opportunity, but you don't try to force an opportunity. It's like when you're trying to put something together or take something out, and then you try strength, and it's like it should be easy. You should just be able to twist. So you're probably twisting the wrong area. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I feel like him trying to rush in there and slam 8 times. That's cool, man. But like that was just that wasn't smart.
Yeah.
So, because he didn't gas, but he gassed enough where he lost the next 2 rounds.
Yeah, and I think too, sometimes maybe when you get a short notice opponent, maybe you're thinking, I've been training longer, they're not going to be as ready for me to try to get it over faster. Maybe like their conditioning isn't going to be there, so you kind of want to get it done faster. I understand different philosophies of fast starts and slow starts, but I agree. Like I know for me, I would probably want to get in there and get my bearings a little bit, you know what I mean? And kind of feel it out a little bit, but I'm not ever going to do that. I'm not ever going in there. Like, I can't believe you actually did the smokers. I love that. And so you really want to do amateur fights as well. Like, why are you not satisfied with just the training and the sparring? Like, why are you trying to take it to the next level?
Because I actually want to do it though.
You really, you really want to fight at some point.
I want to fight, and I don't want to do it the Jake Paul way, because he's the prize. He's like he's just a celebrity boxer, right?
Right.
He's never gonna fight a real boxer, and that's fine. Because he should. Why would he do that? It's stupid.
Right. He doesn't need to. Right. But you don't need to either.
I honestly, you say, yeah, I don't need to, but I want to. Listen, I'm trying to tell you that I can do this. I swear I can. I've already been in the room and I've trained with Bellator fighters and UFC fighters. I sparred with them. I grappled with them. And, I've been hit and I hit people and I do well enough where I'm like, oh, I can get to like something. I can do something. I'm not saying I'll beat up who's, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying, that dude is a monster. Oh my God. But like, I'm saying that I've grappled with people and I've struck with people that I've done well enough where I'm like, I can do this. Okay. I can do it. And I want to try it. And if I get knocked out and I get finished and I just, all right, cool, man, I'm just going to do comedy. Like, you know what I mean? There's been times where I've been choked out and I'm like, this is not what I do.
Right.
I need to get back on stage real quick, get my self-esteem back, but I've trained with Dean Thomas. When I start getting serious, I'm training with Dean.
Well, I'm working with Dean this weekend.
You said what?
I'm working with Dean this weekend.
Oh, tell him that's my boy. I met Dean when I was in Florida, and before I got on TV, he was, someone was hyping me up. He's like, you know who Dean Thomas is, blah blah blah. And I was like, I love MMA, and he's like, you should know who Dean Thomas is. And then I just added him on Facebook, and he was messaging me back and forth. He's always been super nice. He's great. He's always been he's a really good guy. Yeah. And I've been, cool with him, and I started training a couple years ago, and then I think my, athleticism, and I think that my knowledge of the game, I think, I'm not saying I know everything, and I'm not saying I'm just like crazy athletic and crazy, but I feel like I want to do it. Like I'm just like I have so many goals, and usually my goals come true. Yeah. So I'm planning on I can make it to the prelims. You know what I'm saying? I can make it to the prelims and get knocked out one day. That's my goal. I'm trying to get.
I would love trying to make it to the prelims and get knocked out. KO'd on the prelims. It's a dream come true.
That's my jam. I'm gonna get knocked out. They're gonna interview me afterwards. This is my dream for years.
So I have to ask them, what would your fight nickname be then?
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
You gotta get one because so it's Preacher. Like I'm trying to think of what we play. Like do you play off of the Preacher thing? Do you play off?
What? No, that's stupid. All right. I don't think I should think of one. I think I'll let someone else think of it and I'll keep it because I think that's how that happens, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to happen organically. Like usually, either something happens in the gym or like, oh, that move looks so sweet. Like, but I'm trying to think you're gonna need a fight nickname. And then what does your mom think of the fact that you want to get in there and fight?
Hey, my mom was in my corner last night. I didn't have a corner man when I was in the smokers. She was in the corner. She was yelling at me. She was like, move to the side, move to the side. She didn't know terms. She meant ankles. That's what she meant. But she kept just saying, move to the side. And my mom wants to do a smoke.
No way.
I'm serious. My mom been training for like a year. Hey, we secretly can fight in this family.
Apparently.
She wants to do a smoker, so.
That's incredible. So so when you're in LA, because you live in LA, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
So where do you train though? Like, so for your striking, for your jiu-jitsu, like who have you trained with for the ground game? Because I think most of the stuff I've seen on your Instagram has been more kicking and like more your strength and conditioning, doing your box jumps and stuff. Like, I'm curious who you've been training jiu-jitsu with.
Because when I was training my ground game in December, they tore my rotator cuff. So I tore my rotator cuff in December. So I happened first 2 months I couldn't even do this. Oh. So I was throwing a punch. And I probably shouldn't have been, but it's getting better now. I just did a push-up for the first time like a couple weeks ago. Nice. So I wasn't even, that's the only reason you've been seeing a lot of like my striking. But my ground game, I think is better. I think it's way better than my striking. I think my ground game is way better. I think when I get a hold of you, it's a wrap. Okay. All right? It's someone that's been training as long as me. If you've been training a year and a half, if I get a hold of you, it's a wrap. No, but I trained I started training at Uprise MMA in Los Angeles. Uh-huh. And but right now I'm just kind of like I'm in Georgia and I'm training at American Top Team Georgia and Jocko. So I don't know if you know. Yeah, so he was in the UFC and everyone know if you know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you know this man. He fought Derek Brunson. He actually got finished in the first round pretty quick. But he's a monster. His ground. I mean, I've been to a lot of places because anytime I go out of town, I go to a MMA spot.
Yeah.
And I'll train MMA, I'll train jiu-jitsu. And then, it's crazy, but this is like some of the best ground game I've ever, they tore my rotator cuff. But like this is some of the best, I know it sucks. But this is like some of the best ground. I've been to places, I got to train at John Jones Gym. I got to train at Albuquerque, what's it called?
Jackson Wink, yeah.
Jackson Wink. I got to train at Jackson Wink, man. And I learned so much there. I got to train at American Top Team in Florida. I trained in, San Antonio. I trained like anywhere. Anytime I go out of town, I find the nearest MMA gym, and I trained in Nashville MMA. Yeah, so that was really cool. So but this gym at American Top Team and right here is just their ground game is like they have two people that were NCAA champions or NCAA or some kind of grappling. Right. I don't know the terms. Okay, I don't know the terms, but they were like grappling champions.
Yeah,
and one of the guys submitted Eddie Bravo's protege. So
it was probably ADCC. Yeah, it might have been the Abu Dhabi, the ADCC.
That's what it is. Two of their guys are ADCC champions.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And one of the guys that was ADCC champion, he's the one who got my arm because I wasn't trying to. I was like, I'm not tapping, And usually I'm fast to tap, but I was like, I'm gonna get out of it. And then my body was like, hey man, well I'm just gonna break on you, and I'm like, all right, fine. I'll just tap. But
so I have to ask then, since you are, your day job is in comedy. Have you been like, do fight things come into your act? Like, what's your, how do these two worlds meet when you're doing your day job your night job, right? Of comedy? Like, does it come into there at all?
I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I'll make jokes about, sessions and stuff, and but I don't really, I don't think it connects. I don't really joke around when I'm training, and I do joke. I did when I was in Uprise because a lot of people think I'm like an extrovert, and I'm an ambivert. I'm an introvert and I'm both.
Yeah.
So, but when I first get into a new environment, I'm pretty quiet. Okay. So I'm usually quiet, then I open up, and then it's like, man, shut up. So I'm kind of the same way. So I'm like, I don't really do any fighting, anything. I just kind of talk about it on stage sometimes.
Okay. Yeah.
And then when I'm training, I'm not really joking too much. I'm more like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, do I look scary? I don't know how I'm going to do a face-off because I feel like if I look at someone's eyes, I'm going to laugh.
Right. Yeah. No, I tried to do a picture the other day where I was like, where's my mean face? And I was like, and then I just started laughing because same thing, like, I think I can talk a lot of crap. Like, I think you'd be great, obviously, at the press conference. I think the press conference.
I can't wait. That's what I want to do.
Right. That's where you'd shine.
That's what I wanted. I already have like ideas or whatever. Because most people that can fight can't really talk. That's why, like, Conor's so good.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because he's so popular. Because he is one of the greatest fighters of all time. What he accomplished the 2-weight division. His win streak and hit the fastest knockout. Like he's great.
Yeah.
But if he didn't have that mouthpiece, no one will be talking about him as much. I think that's a big reason that what proliferated, Khabib's career is because he fought Conor.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody's like, he's amazing. Khabib's amazing, like never lost a round type of, until he fought Conor in the 4th round or 3rd round, whatever. But it's like, I think that's why people are like, Khabib's the greatest of all time and stuff. And I'm like, this dude is not in my top 5. He should have stayed longer, I feel.
Okay.
He had 3 title defenses. It gets harder when you're a champion. And then he left. So it's like, Usman did the same thing. He had the same record before his last fight, before he knocked out Masvidal. He had the same record and the same amount of wins as
Khabib.
Khabib, sorry. But he had the same thing, and it's like, I think Usman had harder opponents.
Yeah.
He had way harder opponents. Like Khabib's never fought. He fought like maybe one dude. He's never fought a ground specialist, right? He's fought a bunch of strikers with ground games.
Right.
That's so it's like, and Usman, his list is so much harder, and people are like Khabib's greatest. And I'm like, how is Khabib the greatest when Usman has the same record? Now he has a better record because he stayed longer and he fought harder opponents. So it's like, but I think Conor's so big that boom, that happened. And it's like he got big. Because anytime Conor fights somebody, you know.
It's red panty night. And that's the whole thing. And I agree with you. That's literally, yeah. Because I like Conor, you know, people have their feelings about him or whatever, but like literally what you were saying, his ability to talk, his ability on the microphone helps me, helps what I do on my side of the thing, and is why part of the reason why he was so appealing to me. Because not only, yes, could he fight and he had fought all these great people, but you're like, as soon as you spoke to him, he got the joke. Like he knew what to do when you stuck a mic in front of his face.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately.
And I find like Kevin Holland was like that within 30 seconds of meeting him. I remember I met him when he was going to when he was going to fight Thiago Santos. He was like a last minute place. Nobody was talking to him because nobody knew who he was. And I was like, I had time. I was waiting. I was like, let me just go talk to this kid. Now, I'm not going to lie, Preacher. Part of the reason I like Kevin Holland so much is because he was absolutely thrilled to meet me. And so, you know, he was like right away, he was like, oh my God, KB, I can't believe it. I was like, this kid is great. I love this kid. But honestly, like within 30 seconds, he had so much personality. And I was like, yeah, this kid, I really like him. Then he went and had that great fight with Thiago Santos, even though he didn't win. Like he put himself on the map, and we know what Kevin Holland is now. And so I say that to people, like that the ability to on the microphone is so important, and it isn't everything. But when you have that and somebody who can fight, it's a freaking dream. It is a dream. And that's why I love Israel Adesanya. Same thing. It's like, this dude is smooth. He's dropped, like, you're just like, I just want to talk to you. I just want to talk to you some more. And you could fight like that? Like, come on, bro. Like, come on.
It's almost like he speaks some punchline. He's my favorite fighter, by the way.
Oh, is he?
I mean, he's like my favorite.
Oh, did you see that play on words? I just said, oh, is he?
This is so stupid. I didn't hear it. And then you're like, no, you about to hear this. Let me go ahead and repeat it.
Again.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But why is he your favorite?
He's dope. But
why is he your favorite? Why is he your favorite?
Oh, because I said off his first fight, I was like, next Anderson Silva. I said that. That was his next, before he went on his little winning streak, before he did what he did, I was like, this is the next Anderson Silva. Because what I did, to be honest with you, I watched his first fight, and then I went and watched his kickboxing matches. And I was like, oh, he just needs to stop the takedown, and it's a wrap, you know? So I just love how smooth he is, how he switches stances, his angles, how his feints. I think that's a lot of, like, you'll see a lot of times in amateurs, they don't throw any feints, you know, like, and just a lot of fighters in general don't throw feints, you know, so I think his feints are, it's like his number one weapon. His defense, he's just so good. I just love the way he fights. It's so cool to watch him, you know, especially that fight when he had with Paulo Costa, because he wasn't supposed to, if you look at those two people, he's not supposed to win.
No.
You know? He's not supposed to win, because if you look at their bodies and you're like, okay, this dude looks like he eats once every 3, you know what I mean? He just looked like they should be donating a certain amount of pennies a day. And then you got another dude who just looked like he juggled planets. And so it's just you look at those people and it's like, okay, well, I know he's going to win. And then his feints and he's him switching stances, and you know, he just couldn't, like, people were like, why did Paul just rush in? Because he was getting feinted to death. You know, people always like, why didn't we should just rush in? And it's like every time he rushed in, you get clips. And it's like it happened how it happened. You know? But he's one of my favorite. Anderson Silva, he's my favorite. He's still my favorite. But Rumble Johnson, Usman, you know, I love Usman. I love a lot of fighters.
A lot of good folks. So what do you think will happen then? Because I was there when I was sitting right next to the octagon when Izzy fought Marvin Vettori for the first time. And Marvin got him down took him down in the 3rd round. Like, he was the first one to take Israel to a decision. And that was a couple of years ago. Now we see the Marvin Vettori that's just smashing dudes. And we know how good Israel is. But I think, it's going to be a little bit of a different thing. And I don't know what you're taking. Obviously, you're probably just going to assume Israel will win again. But Marvin Vettori has been coming on really strong lately.
Yeah, he's been doing great. Marvin Vettori has gotten better, but I just think Izzy's gotten way better. Yeah. You know? So, let's be. So, Marvin Vettori's getting a title shot off of fighting Kevin Holland in 2 weeks.
Yeah. But he also beat Jack Hermanson.
You said what?
He also beat Jack Hermanson, who was ranked very high.
He did, man. Look, Marvin Vettori, he's good. I just think the same thing happens. I think he gets finished.
Yeah.
I think he gets finished. I think he's really strong, but I think he's a little slower. He's not like crazy fast. You know, he just pressures on the tank, and he was gassed. I mean, did you see the interview afterwards?
Yeah.
He was gassed. He was gassed. And it's not and Kevin Holland, like everyone's always like he needs to work on his takedown defense and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like he does, but also he's just too small for that. It's like when Izzy fought Blachowicz.
Yeah.
It's like Blachowicz kind of just was like, I'm bigger than you and I'm gonna lay on you. And you're not getting up. Because you're not strong enough.
Israel is. Yeah, he's small for 205. And the thing is I think, although I will say, I think Marvin was also a little more fatigued in that because it was more of a wrestling heavy fight. Yeah. Because you saw the blueprint of how to beat Kevin, from Brunson. And so I don't think Marvin usually fights like that. Like he doesn't usually fight like that. And so I don't know if he will try to take Israel down because it's the better way to beat Israel. But I have a feeling that one might be more of a striking battle. Unless he tries to take Israel down.
But this is what's going. So you're telling me Marvin Vettori's going to outstrike Izzy?
I didn't say he was going to outstrike him. I was just saying that I think he was more fatigued in the Kevin Holland fight because he was doing more wrestling.
Yeah, than usual. Yeah. So I think that he's going to have to risk being that fatigued because he's not going to outstrike Israel Adesanya. I think Robert Whittaker. I mean, come on, man. You seen what Robert Whittaker, what he's been doing?
I love Robert Whittaker so much.
He finished. He beat Kelvin Gastelum, which is my guy.
That's what I'm saying. That would hurt my heart.
That's my guy. He just beat him, and I was going for Kelvin, but it wasn't close. And he just before that he beat
Till.
He beat, man, I'm over here.
Whittaker beat Darren Till over on Fight Island. Yeah.
He was supposed to get, he beat Darren Till. So Darren Till was going to win that. Darren Till was going to get a title shot.
Yeah.
And then he didn't get one. Then he fought my boy, all right? He fought my boy, the dark horse of the division, I thought, right?
Yeah.
And he beat him pretty bad. And he just beat higher class opponents than Vettori, and he beat him more decisive.
Right, with more style points. Yeah, I mean, I think Whittaker should have gotten it, to be honest. But the timing of it is tough because literally, when he posted something yesterday, about the picture of his baby, because he's still like on quarantine on his way home from winning the fight a couple of weeks ago. And so when you really factor in the time and all this stuff, like Robert just can't fight that often under this COVID era. You know what I mean? And honestly, that's what burned him out before, was fighting too frequently when he was champ and everything. And that's why, whatever. Israel's amazing. I'm not going to say that's why he lost. It's just that, Robert was very forthcoming about his fatigue, his burnout. He didn't even want to train anymore. Like, he was just over it, and took that break. So now when we see him coming back, like when we saw him on Fight Island, he was just invigorated and so excited. And to your point, though, about the feints, he told us after, like, all the feints with Till were killing him. Like, and he was biting on him. And like he said, like, he was mentally stressed out in that fight a lot because of those feints. So for your next smoker, for sure, throw a lot of feints. But yeah, I do think that Whittaker should be the guy, but because of the timing, I'm totally okay with Marvin getting it. Because again, he's another King's MMA guy. But I am also right. Marvin's doing the right things. He's saying the right things. Yeah. He's getting people to pay attention. People think he's nuts. You know what I mean? With how he goes from 0 to freaking mental in like 2 seconds. I love the dude. Like, he's entertaining. I think the buildup will be fun. Like, on the mic, they are going to be fun. Like,
I think it'll be a more fun matchup for me. Actually, I think it's better. I was more excited, to be honest, for Vettori to fight it. I just don't think it's going to be close. I just think Robert's going to be. I think that's it's
better
a harder matchup. I think it's a harder matchup for Israel. But I do think I think that I was excited. I was like, oh, fine, because I'm always down with champions fighting different fighters. Like rematches are cool, but I really don't like them as much. I just don't like them as much. I think it's kind of like, just they have to warrant a rematch. And the first match with him wasn't that close. I know he's way better now.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little different. But yeah, I like Vettori.
I do too. And it's funny on the rematch thing. I should get wrapping it up soon, but I'm one of those people who, I'm okay if Valentina and Amanda never fight again. Like, I actually like having these two incredible, iconic women in their divisions and just letting them be. Like, I don't necessarily need to see that again. I can see why Valentina might want it. I can see why Amanda's like, I already beat you twice. But it's weird on that one. Like, I love them both so much, and they're both such like special icons of women's MMA. And I'm like, no, don't fight each other again and ruin. Like,
I don't think they should, because I don't like the whole idea of like fighting up a division because you're so good. You know, like Valentina was only fighting, you know, at 135 because there was no 125 division.
Right.
You know, so she was like, so it was now that there is one, she went down to her correct division. So why she got to go up when to fight someone at 135 who cuts down to 145 to fight? Like, it's like she's just so much bigger. Yeah. You know, I just don't get that. I don't think they have to. I agree with you. I don't think that needs to happen. You know, I think that they can be great in their own way, and I think that people are just mad that Valentina's so dominant that, you know, that they're like, you got to want. She can go up and fight Amanda. It's like with John Jones. John Jones, you do not have to go to heavyweight, bro. You do not have to go and fight Ngannou. You already proved whatever you need to prove. You're fine. But people are like, he needs to go to heavyweight. No one's telling Khabib to go up and fight Usman. No one's saying that. Everyone's just, you know, they're content with him being in his division. Like, I think everyone should be content, like, with Valentina being in, you know, in her respective division, and no one needs to go up, because it's not like it's 10 pounds. I mean, well, it is 10 pounds, but it's a lot of times these divisions aren't 10 pounds, like the 205 to head, you know, that's a load. It's just a lot of weight.
Yeah, no, it's a lot, and I agree, and especially too, like you said, Amanda. She's bigger. I mean, and even though they were competitive fights, that's the thing. I guess that's the reason people think they want to see it again, though, because they were competitive. And a lot of people do think Valentina won that second one. And so I guess that's why. But to me, the differences and the size difference, and then like it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, you missed what I was. You did an Izzy joke. I caught it. You didn't catch my impression.
I didn't.
Sorry. No, I was look at the face. You don't remember that?
Yes.
Look at the face.
Look at her face.
That's so gangster. I think it didn't seem as gangster because of accent. But if I was like, look at his face, you won't tell me I lost. Look at his. That's literally what, if you translated the black, what it would sound like.
Totally. Yeah, no, I think Valentina could totally retire as champion, like undefeated as champion. She's a specimen. Like she is a true martial artist too, kind of like bringing it back to the Yuri thing. Like, she is a true martial artist who lives, breathes, like that is what her life is all about. And I just have so much respect.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
So Usman, you know, he's talking about he wants to come back and fight, and they were talking about fighting Michael Chiesa.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
I think Michael I would like Chiesa to have another. Here's the thing: I love him, and I want him to really be ready for Kamaru. And I'm not sure he's quite there yet. Mike's currently ranked number 7. I mean, after just seeing the Kamaru that I saw the other day, I'm like, yo, Mike, maybe take another fight. You know, like because like Kamaru, you know, everything's working for him right now, right? And he is one of those people that I think, you know, got underestimated, and, you know, for various reasons, people really take Colby's side and stuff and whatever, and the Marty Snoozman and all this. But at this point, like, you can't deny how good this man is, right? You cannot deny it. And here's the thing, though. Chiesa is great at grappling, and Chiesa could totally submit him. You know what I mean? He could submit him. But I don't know. I mean, and he's a big guy. Like, every time I post a picture, everybody's like, holy crap, how did Michael Chiesa make 155 pounds? Because he's massive. Like, so I don't think he'll be like outsized and stuff. Like, he's a big dude. I just the Kamaru that I'm seeing right now beats everybody. Yeah.
He looked good against Neil Magny.
Yeah.
Because Neil Magny's a monster.
I know. So, but Chiesa's very good. I mean, what do you think?
What do I mean, I don't think anyone against Usman right now. I mean, but like, I think Usman's just on another level.
Right.
You know, I think he's just on another level. I mean, But I like the fact that he's not fighting Colby, to be honest, because I don't like that whole sitting around waiting for a fight.
No.
You know,
Colby should be fighting
like
somebody else, right? I agree.
I just, yeah. And he fought Tyron Woodley, and I love Tyron Woodley, but let's be real, man. Like he just kind of was like he's out. He's not even in the UFC anymore. So it's like I would like to see him, Colby fight someone else. And I just want to. But I do like the idea of this man staying active. I think that's pretty cool. But I mean, I'm down with seeing him fight anyone.
Yeah, I think he's on another level. I think it is going to be Colby because I think there is, that's the thing too. There's heat in that, and there's in their storyline and stuff like that. And the thing about Chiesa is just, he's ready to go, and I see this kid trains all the time. Like, I don't want it to sound like I don't think he could do it because I totally think he could. It's just that, like you said, the way that Kamaru is looking these days.
I'll say it for you.
No, you're mean.
I think anyone against Usman is gonna lose. But I mean, Michael's a monster. I mean, I don't know. Look, anything can happen, but I can't see because like his strong suit is grappling. Yeah. I just don't see him overpowering Usman.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's kind of hard for me to see that. I mean, but I did go for Neil Magny. I thought Neil Magny was gonna win. I don't know. I thought he was gonna. I thought that fight was going to go a little different. I didn't think necessarily he was going to win, but I didn't think he was going to get dominated like that. And Michael dominated him. So I think I think Michael's a monster. I think he's a monster. I mean, that's why he's on, what, a 4-fight win streak?
Yeah, and he's currently ranked number 7 because after he beat Rafael dos Anjos, I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I know. I was like, okay, all right. You beat the gatekeeper. And
and I've known Michael, so the other thing, too, is funny, is we joke because I met Mike way back on the Ultimate Fighter media day. And I was the first girl he had seen in weeks, right? Because they were like, that was like a 13-week straight season. And so we still joke about it because when I remember the media day, they let them all out of that house. And Michael comes over, he's like, oh, girl. And he like comes over and like puts his hands in my hair. And he's like, he still loves to like play with my hair. And he's always like, KB, can I touch your hair? I'm like, yeah, you can touch it. And thank you for asking and stuff. And yes, you can touch it. But it's been really fun for me actually to watch him rise from the kid on the Ultimate Fighter to really all of a sudden the kid sitting at the end of the desk with me. It's pretty great.
Yeah. And he's really smart too. So like him breaking down fights. So I mean, I don't know. I don't have a mind like him. But he definitely, when you hear him talk about fights or whatever, and I mean, he knows he's smart enough to know what he would have to do,
right?
To win that matchup. But I mean, Usman is like, I mean, that was I can't believe when he knocked out Miles. I seen him catch him a couple times in the first round. And I was like, man, he hit him kind of hard, and then him knocking him out, bro. I just did not. That's crazy.
Yeah. I didn't expect that.
Him when he hit that pullback, counter right on Burns, I was like, what? Like I was like, this is crazy. This is great. And so his striking has gotten so much better.
Yeah.
And I just don't know. I mean, he's just like a GSP 2.0 or something like that. Like he has the jab, he has a better. I mean, his ground game. I mean. He's really good. So.
He is good. He is good. Well, and one day maybe between Kamaru and Israel and Francis Ngannou, maybe there'll be a UFC Africa, and you can go get knocked out on the prelims of UFC Africa.
That's my goal. I want to get knocked out in Africa. All right, I'm trying to get knocked out in the homeland, Dana. Make it happen.
And
if I get knocked out, well, I mean that'd be dope if I even make it, to the prelims. But if I do get knocked out, I mean, how funny would that be?
It's a dream come true.
How funny would that be?
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Well, listen, Preacher, I should let you go. Why don't you tell people though what your upcoming tour dates are, because you are very, very funny. Do your stand-up act. You're out on the road, which I love the fact that like the COVID stuff is loosening back up and you can go out and do your thing. So like, what are some of your upcoming dates?
Okay. So, this weekend I'll be in South Carolina on May 7th. And then I'm doing a tour in Ohio. Then I'll be in Indiana. I'm doing a ballpark tour. So just check my websites out, preacherlawson.com. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, Tinder, Black Leave Me OK, Cubic, Craigslist. Just hit me up. It's Preacher Lawson and everything. And yeah, so
you can find Preacher in the shade room too. No, I'm kidding.
In the shade room, you can find me in the shade. So yeah, I would love for y'all to come out, and if you got some, I don't know, if you're training, I would love to train at your gym if I'm in town.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, folks, hit him up because Preacher's a great guy. And if you have any suggestions for a fight nickname for him, please leave them in the comments.
Oh yeah, let me know. Let me know. If you think of anything, if you think of something, let me know. Karen.
I will. I'm sure I'll think of something. Well, so this is what had happened was usually Angela Hill is with us. So what, Angie, I know this is a woman that, yeah, you're an Angie fan.
Hey, listen, Angie, I'm single. No, but listen, no. I just want to say hi, and yeah, you're dope. I mean, good luck on your fight. This Saturday, you're gonna do. I'm surprised you haven't fought 18 times since then, because you are a monster. But yeah, thanks for letting me try to talk like you for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so you can find this show on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and on YouTube. It's on my Karyn Bryant channel, or you can just go to KarynBryant.com. It's Karyn with a Y, Bryant as in Kobe. Though we are not related, may he rest in peace. Yeah, what had happened was, thanks so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Preacher, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you. I appreciate. I don't know. Hey, what we throwing up? All right, thanks.